Welcome to the Maths Made Easy tutorial on sequences. So this is the second video on the topic. In the first one we looked at linear sequences and finding the nth term. Here we're going to look at geometric sequences and some other types of sequences as well. So a geometric sequence is different to a linear sequence in that instead of adding a common difference each time, you're multiplying by a common ratio. So if we have a look at an example, 0.5, 1.5, 4.5, 13.5 and 40.5. So this is a geometric sequence, also known as a geometric progression. So in order to work out what the common ratio is, you can just divide one term by the previous term. So here we can do 1.5 divided by 0.5, which gives us 3. So as you can see, we're multiplying by 3 to get from one term to the next. So that's a fairly straightforward example. You may also be asked about geometric progressions or geometric sequences involving surds. So an example might be root 3, 3, 3 root 3, 9 and 9 root 3. So this looks a bit more complicated, but here we'll use the same logic. So we'll divide 3 by root 3 and that gives us root 3. So to go from one term to the next, we're multiplying by root 3 and so on. So let's move on to look at some other types of sequences now. The first one that we'll look at is triangular numbers. So triangular numbers you can represent as a triangle of dots. So the first one is just 1, but the second one is 3. So we have a triangle made up of 3 dots. Then we can have a triangle made up of 6 dots. Then we can do, so there's 4 on the bottom now, and 3 above it, then 2 above that, then 1 above that, so that's 10 dots and so on. So I'm not going to bother writing any more, but that's just a sequence that you should be aware of. And then let's move on now to look at square numbers. So square numbers are numbers that you get from multiplying one number by itself. So we'll go through all the square numbers from 1 squared to 12 squared. So 1 squared is just 1 times 1, which is 1. Then we have 2 times 2, which is 4. 3 times 3 gives us 9. And then the sequence is as follows. We get 16, 5 times 5, 25, then 36, then 49, then we have 64, 81, 100, 11 squared is 121, and then 12 squared is 144. So that's a sequence that you should also be aware of. Cubic numbers are quite similar. We'll write these in green. So cubic numbers are where you just multiply a number by itself and then itself again. So we start off with 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. Then we get 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Then 4 times 4 times 4 is 64, and so on. So I'm not going to go through any more of the cubic numbers, but these are just another sequence that you should be aware of. And the last one we'll look at is the Fibonacci sequence. So the Fibonacci sequence is a very particular type of sequence, and it's where you add the previous 2 terms together to get the next term. So the first 2 terms are 1 and 1, then you add these 2 terms together to get 2, and then you add the 1 and the 2 from the previous 2 terms to get 3, add the 3 and the 2 to get 5, add the 5 and the 3 to get 8, add the 8 and the 5 to get 13, add the 13 and the 8 to get 21, and so on. So these are all just different types of sequences that you should be aware of. If you want to practice some linear sequences exam style questions, you can do so with our online exam. This is available through our revision platform, and if you take the test you'll find loads of different questions to have a go at, a variety of different question types, and all of which you'll receive instant feedback on. So this is a really good way of keeping track of your progress, finding out where you're going wrong, and a good way to make sure you can improve in time for your actual exam. So if you're interested, you can click the link below and it will take you straight there.